Dragon Ball Daima may only have a few episodes released so far, but those episodes are absolutely incredible, and they've brought many answers to questions that previously seemed unsolvable, along with a flood of new revelations. However, as always happens in Dragon Ball, these episodes also raised new doubts and left many people intrigued. And among all these doubts, questions, and intrigue, the burning question on the internet is, who will be the villain of this new saga? The truth is that the first episode already gave us some clues about who might take on the role of the main villain. Recently, I posted a video here on the channel where I talked about hints that the Namekian Neva could be the villain of Dragon Ball Daima. But in that video, I also mentioned 3 other possibilities: the new Demon King, Gomah, his assistant from the Makaishin race, Degesu, and the ambitious scientist from the Makai world, Dr. Arinsu. To be honest, when I watched the episode for the first time, the character that convinced me the most as a potential sensational villain was none other than Dr. Arinsu. And today, I'm going to explain in full detail why. Stay connected to the channel and let's go to the video. Right at the beginning of episode 1, we have that scene where King Gomah and Degesu are watching the events of the Majin Buu saga. They see the moment when Babidi and Dabura emerge from their hideout, and Gomah gets very angry when he finds out that Babidi is using Dabura as one of his minions, while Degesu is also very surprised, saying he can't believe the Supreme Demon King succumbed to Babidi's magic. These lines make 2 things clear. They knew Babidi, and at that moment, they discovered that the sorcerer had taken control of Dabura's body. But the most interesting part is that they were apparently watching the outside world for the first time. They were surprised to see that mortals could fly and shoot ki blasts, which suggests they had no idea what was happening outside the demon realm. This makes a lot of sense, considering that, according to Daizenshu 7, the demon realm is a chaotic dimension where magic prevails over science. Not even the Kaioshins can monitor what happens there, and the same applies to the Demon King regarding the outside world. In other words, this could very well have been the first time Gomah and Degesu had contact with what was happening outside the demon realm, which explains their astonishment. But then some important questions arise. How did they get this technology to observe the outside world? And why didn't they know that Babidi had taken control of Dabura? From what we saw, it was clearly not happening a real-time transmission, because Gomah was able to zoom in, fast forward, and change the scenes as if he were watching recordings. Basically, he was viewing the events of the Majin Buu saga as if they were episodes of an anime. And if they were recordings, who made these recordings? If King Gomah had never used this technology to observe the outside world before, that means he didn't have access to it. Considering that the events take place a year after the Buu saga, with Trunks being 9 years old, this indicates that Dabura had been absent from the Makai world for quite some time, and only now did they decide to investigate what had happened. After the holograms are turned off, Dr. Arinsu appears, arriving with a smile on her face, and that's when things start to get even more interesting. Gomah compliments her, saying she looks as beautiful as ever, which shows a certain relationship between them. This scene also makes it clear that Arinsu wasn't present during the hologram screenings, which suggests she already knew what they were about. Gomah asks about the research, and Arinsu responds that everything is going well. It's worth remembering an important detail here. The one responsible for funding Dr. Arinsu's research was Dabura, the former Demon King. In other words, if Arinsu is now discussing her research with Gomah, it means she had already been manipulating him even before he became the new Demon King. It's likely that she orchestrated everything so that Gomah would take the throne and secure the funding she desperately needed. This becomes even more evident when Arinsu congratulates Gomah, saying, "Congratulations on becoming the new Demon King." At that moment, Gomah is surprised that she already knew about it, raising suspicions that she was aware of everything. Degesu steps in to answer, explaining that she was listening to the conversation, which seems like an attempt to deflect attention and prevent Gomah from becoming suspicious of her true intentions. Arinsu comments that it wasn't typical of Dabura to venture into the outside world and that this had piqued her curiosity. Gomah then laments the fact that Dabura, the former financier of her research, was killed. But Arinsu responds that this wouldn't be a problem since now he, Gomah, is the new Demon King and could continue investing in her projects. At this point, she shows confidence and a hint of satisfaction. However, when Gomah casts doubt on this, Arinsu is caught off guard, as if she wasn't expecting the possibility that he might refuse to fund her research. She then tries to manipulate Gomah using fear, suggesting that the warriors from the outside world, who even defeated Majin Buu, could invade the demon realm and cause chaos. She adopts a dramatic, almost forced tone, as if she's pretending to be concerned to scare Gomah and convince him to keep funding her research. Everything indicates that her projects involve creating super warriors to protect the demon realm from potential invaders, even if these invaders are stronger than Majin Buu himself. Shortly after, Arinsu leaves the room but reappears a few minutes later, showing that she had been eavesdropping the entire time. She mentions that the idea to turn everyone into children was clever, which shows she's pleased with what's happening. And the only one who'll be more pleased than Arinsu hearing that Gomah is going to turn everyone on Earth into kids is me. After you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Please do it because it really helps, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who does that. Well, next we see King Gomah and Degesu discussing their wishes. The first wish they plan to use is to turn everyone who fought Majin Buu into children. For the second wish, Gomah wants to ask for the evil third eye, an artifact that apparently grants the bearer absolute power. At that moment, Degesu mentions that he would like to have the third wish, which raises a big mystery. Why is he so interested in making a wish? Degesu seems to be very submissive to Gomah, but if he has a wish to make to the Dragon Balls, it's because he has some great ambition, right? This shows that he wants more out of life than just serving Gomah, as he's currently making it seem in the anime. At the end of this part of the episode, we see another Majin named Glorio, who we already know will be one of Goku's companions, along with his friends, on this journey in the demon realm. When they are about to depart from the Makai world to Earth, Gomah and Degesu are awaiting the arrival of the Namekian Neva, and together they board a spaceship. At this moment, Neva asks where they are going, and Degesu explains that they are heading to the outside world. Neva's reaction suggests that he doubted this possibility because, as far as he knew, it was impossible to leave the demon realm. However, Degesu asserts that they now had what they needed to make this trip. They arrive in front of a large fish who asks for the access password. This fish seems to be responsible for controlling travel between the three worlds of the demon realm, so it's normal for him to expect that those standing before him would say some password to visit one of the other two worlds in the demon realm. However, he is surprised to hear the password that grants access to the outside world, as if it were a secret or very difficult to obtain password. The interesting thing is that it's Degesu who reveals the password, not Gomah, indicating that he was the one who obtained this crucial information. When access is granted, the surprise on Gomah's face suggests that even he wasn't entirely sure the plan would work. After passing through the fish, they arrive in a white dimension, where a little fish asks which universe they want to go to. Degesu consults his notes and responds that the destination is Universe 7, indicating that he didn't know the destination by heart. This raises a question. How could someone as smart as Degesu not know where they were going? Who gave him this information? It's likely that the same person who provided the access password also gave him this information. The fish comments that planet Earth in Universe 7 has been quite popular recently, which surprises Gomah, who recalls that Dabura and Babidi also went there. But the fish reveals that besides Dabura and Babidi, another person recently went to planet Earth in Universe 7, Dr. Arinsu. This makes Gomah suspicious, hoping she isn't plotting anything against him. Now let's organize these events to better understand them. Dabura, the former Demon King, was the one funding Arinsu's research, but he had been under Babidi's control for 300 years. During all that time, Dabura didn't return to the Makai world, meaning Arinsu was left without support for her projects. We know she's curious, and when Dabura disappeared, it's likely she began investigating, eventually eventually discovering Babidi's plan to revive Majin Buu. Most likely, by observing Babidi, she discovered many crucial pieces of information, such as the password to access the outside world, which universe they were in, and the location of Earth. During the 3 days of the Majin Buu saga, Arinsu could very well have been on Earth, recording everything with some magic without being noticed. Later, she returned to the Makai world and started manipulating events to put a new Demon King in power, someone who would guarantee the funding for her research. To do this, she recruited her brother Degesu, who may have been pretending to be loyal to Gomah or collaborating with her from the start, because as we saw, it wasn't natural for Degesu to be by King Gomah's side, which means that Degesu acting as some kind of assistant to Gomah is something not common. From that point on, Degesu got closer to Gomah, gaining his trust and providing him with notes and holograms from the Buu saga to convince him to take the throne. When the plan seemed to be moving forward, Arinsu appeared, as if she already knew exactly what was going on. When Gomah asked how she knew he was the new Demon King, Degesu answered for her, diverting any suspicion. And here's where an interesting connection to Dragon Ball Heroes comes in. For those who aren't familiar, Towa, Dabura's sister in Dragon Ball Heroes, is a brilliant scientist who betrayed the demon realm to join Mira, an artificial being created with the DNA of various masters. Arinsu shares many similarities with Towa, especially in terms of her ambition and her use of technology and magic to achieve her goals. And something interesting is that Glorio physically resembles Mira, suggesting that he could be a creation of Dr. Arinsu. This raises two possibilities. Either Glorio is the project Arinsu plans to perfect, or he's just an experiment, and the real final villain is still being developed in some laboratory in the Makai world. These details hint that Arinsu could be following a similar path to Towa in Dragon Ball Heroes, creating powerful warriors to carry out her plans. If we take into account that she was on Earth during the events of the Buu saga, it's possible she collected the DNA of the warriors involved, including Majin Buu himself, to create powerful hybrids, mixing the DNA of Saiyans, Namekians, Supreme Kais, and even Earthlings. This really reminds me of what happens in Dragon Ball AF, where a Supreme Kai creates Zyko, the perfect Saiyan, with the DNA of Goku and a Supreme Kai. And who is the creator of Dragon Ball AF? None other than Toyotaro, who is now Akira Toriyama's successor in Dragon Ball Super. This makes the whole theory even more plausible. So guys, what do you think? Could Dr. Arinsu be the big villain of Dragon Ball Daima? Comment below who you think has the best chance of taking the role of the villain, Neva or Arinsu. Is Glorio her creation, just like Mira was for Towa in Dragon Ball Heroes? Or do you think the true villain is still being finished in some lab? Drop your opinions in the comments, because I really want to know. I also want you to comment your theories on who the big villain of Dragon Ball Daima will be, because if you've got a really good and solid theory, I might even make a video about it here on the channel. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with another Dragon Ball fan you know. Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon, link in the description and pinned comment, to see how you can help support our channel and get some perks for a small contribution. And if you've made it to the end of the video, comment Goku defeats the Supreme Demon King, just so I know you're one of the real gods of this channel who stays until the end. That's it folks, a big hug to you all and see you in the next video.